your results delivery and career mastery with OKRX, Daily Huddles, one-on-ones, and Windwards. As we get started, I'd like you to take yourself to a moment in time where you're winning. Hopefully that's right now. And in the chat, pick a word that you associate an emotion towards that feeling of winning. What does it feel like to win? What's the first word that comes to mind? Pop that in the chat. I'd love to see what we're all Wednesday. Great. Happy, yeah, Joseph. Proud, says Char. Blessed, says April. Fulfilled, outstanding, proud, satisfying, proud, fulfillment, fulfilling, victorious, productive, satisfying. You feel all these words, no doubt, as you start to hear other ones. Grateful, outstanding. You'll start to evoke all these other emotions and feelings inside yourself. And the thing is, winning is really good for you. That feeling of progress, of fulfillment, achievement, it actually activates all sorts of very positive and helpful hormones within our bodies that takes us into a zone that is great for us. It's actually really good for our health. Now, the concept of winning, especially in organizations, is what matters. As Roger Martin says, what matters is winning. Great organizations, whether companies, not-for-profits, political organizations, agencies, etc., they choose to win rather than simply play. And this moment stands out. In fact, I often think about the concept of whether we're playing or we're choosing to win. And there's often one very regular time throughout everyone's year that this tends to happen. And I'm going to introduce today with a story from our two friends, Tim and Tom. Now, let's see if this looks familiar to you. It's the 31st of December. Tim and Tom are two best friends. Both are middle-aged fathers, married with two kids and busy careers. In their younger years, they were both very active and considered themselves actually in pretty good shape. Now, however, they're a little bit disappointed where they're at and physically, and they think they could get back into shape. Together, they make a New Year's resolution. What do you think the New Year's resolution is? Put it in the chat for me if you think you know what the New Year's resolution might be for Tim and Tom. Exercise! You gotta go to lose weight, get fit, physically fit, exercise, gym, workout, shape up. Get fit, active again, wellness, right? We're in the zone. Anyone here, pop a one in the chat if you have had at some point in time a New Year's resolution about getting healthier or fitter or exercise. Yeah, right. Fantastic. Okay, so we're definitely all in this one together. At some point in time, we've done this. Now, how about this scenario? Here's Tim and Tom. And Tim says, you know what? I'm getting fit this year. This year is the year I lose weight and get on top of this. And as of Monday, I'm going back to the gym. And then Tom says, well, yeah, thinks about it deeply for a moment and says, you know what, Tim, I am losing the dad bod and getting shredded. I commit to reducing my body fat from 30% to 12% by the 31st of December, 2023. I'm going to complete 3 5-kilometer runs using interval training of 1 minute fast intensity followed by 1 minute low intensity each week. And I'm going to complete 2 weight sessions at the gym using a program designed by a personal trainer per week. And I'm going to drink less than 3 alcoholic drinks using a 1 glass of water to 1 glass of alcohol consumption per week. And you know what? I'm going to track it on my watch and my fitness band and my phone so I can see that progress of how I'm going along the way. And I'm going to share my progress via the Strava app and maintain accountability to other committed fitness friends on the app as well. And also, you know what? I'm going to weigh in every 2 weeks with a personal trainer and discuss how to optimize my progress. Tom is an owl profile. Yeah, totally eagle owl, I'd say. What was the difference between Tim and Tom? Some people are already answering that. What's the difference? If I'm Tom, I'd be happy to use OKRX Huddleboard. You got it. Tom, right. Tim's very specific, isn't he? Tom is really getting some serious specificity, clear goals, specific and realistic, says Aids. got to be specific. And there's action in there, and he's popped that one up. There's action items in there. It's not just like this ethereal kind of thing, I'm going to lose it, but I'm getting down to the detail. Who would you predict to be more likely to succeed? Who do you want to put your money on? Tim or Tom? Tom's definitely leading the way here. Kind of, do you feel like you've got some confidence in Tom with that type of language? I think here's what Tom's future looks like. It's looking very different from Tim's. And we might say why. Well, the specificity that's in here is just at a completely different level. Yankers, wow, right? Tom's looking great. So the concept of if I want to lose weight, for example, or get fit and healthy, diet and exercise are in there, aren't there? Now, is the concept of diet and exercise a pretty simple and obvious thing? When it comes to losing weight, is diet and exercise simple and obvious? It's not a trick question. Yes or no? Do you think the concept of diet and exercise, is it a simple concept or an obvious concept? It might be quite obvious, I think, that the diet and exercise, we know that, but the specificity of it is where it changes everything. I think now that you've seen that other view, it's like that is not as obvious, the specificity. And this is not common practice. Now, it might be common sense that to lose weight, we need to work on diet and exercise, but it's not actually common practice, certainly not the specificity. Today, you're going to have a brand new way of designing your goals at work with a powerful new level of specificity powered by AI. And I think we're going to blow your minds at just how fast you're going to be able to come up with metrics that really matter and will move the needle in your life, in your roles that you do. Now, an interesting study from Strava, the Strava app, many would be familiar with that one. Study by the fitness app Strava found that January 19th is the day when most people give up on their New Year's resolutions. I thought it was the 2nd of January, but the January 19th is most common, with only 12% of people successfully sticking to their resolutions for the entire year. So I wonder how we could make things different. Well, let's have a look at this story of Tom. Let's follow Tom throughout the rest of our masterclass today. You see, what makes Tom so different? Well, it just so happens Tom works at an organization like GoTeam, where they believe in career mastery and results delivery. And there is a clear foundation and framework around ensuring that as a human being, he's able to be seen and feel heard around his unique contribution. And then there's a structured forum there that allows him to be able to share his progress, his knowledge, his feelings, desires about a bright future. There's also for Tom a structure there to ensure that he understands how to deliver impact, knowing that as a team member, he can see the contribution that he makes actually makes a difference to the organization's purpose and strategy. And then most importantly, Tom gets to play a winnable game. He actually gets to see objectively on a daily and weekly basis whether he's winning or losing on a game that he has influence over and can actually make the adjustments to get to that ultimate outcome that he desires. With this, there are actually 4 fundamentals for this to work for Tom. And they are OKRX, Daily Huddles, one-on-ones, and win-wins. There's even more to the tool set, but these are the core fundamental 4 that we're going to look at today. Now, the concept of objectives and key results and X factors as a goal-setting tool actually comes from the work by John Dewar in Measure What Matters. Now, John Dewar became, I think, quite famous, mainly for the book and the work that he did with Google around objectives, key results, and X factors as a goal-setting system. What John also said is that you really need to adapt it and make it your own. And here at GoTeam, that's exactly what we've done. We've taken it quite a few steps further, in particular around this new metric called an X factor. And the entire system with the Huddleboard app that we've designed is designed specifically for remotely and virtually set teams. So teams that are going to be in remote global teams is all designed specifically to make it more useful, easier in order to hit your results. Let's start with a few definitions so that we can get aligned together in our thinking. The first is the objective. Well, what is an objective? An objective is what we want to achieve. Pardon me. For this to really get some teeth, it needs to be inspirational and emotive in its statement. You see, as human beings, when we recall information, it's easier to recall if it has got a strong emotional connection to the item. We actually burn that into our memory. It sinks in a lot deeper if it's emotional. The objective will need to be something that's significant and action-orientated and sets the direction that you're going. Now, it turns out that Tom is actually in the accounts receivable team and for his organization. And the objective that he and the team have come up with is to wipe out the disputes. So often in accounts receivable, you've got challenges perhaps with billing and customers have got questions. We call those disputes. They want to just wipe those out, really get in front of it. Then you get the key result. What is the key result? Well, this is how you measure the successful outcome of the objective. And it needs to be measurable in a way that has a start line, a finish line, and a deadline to drive the urgency around results delivery. An example here would be to reduce the accounts receivable disputed items from 5% to 10% by December 31st, 2023. Now, Tony Robbins shares with us that people who succeed at the highest level are not lucky. They're doing something differently than everyone else. And guess what? We can learn from them. Here is Tony's view on this one around the doing something differently connects to raising our standards and turning our shoulds into musts.
What is this really about? Ultimately, if you're going to have lasting change in anything, you're really talking about just raising your standards. I mean, I always tell people, if you want to know how to change your life, I give it to you in 3 words, boring as it sounds: raise your standards. And what does that mean? Corny as it sounds. Raise your standards. Oh, thank you for the breakthrough thought, Tony. I'm glad I wasted my time watching this little email with you. But think about it. Lasting change is different than a goal. You don't always get your goals, but you always get your standards. Maybe it would help you is to think about it this way. I try to explain standards to people with a different set of words. Think of it as everybody in life gets their musts. They don't get their shoulds. Like, think about it. Most people have a list of shoulds, don't they? Don't you have a list of the shoulds, things you should do, you should follow through on? I should lose some weight, I should work out more, I should make more calls, I should respond more rapidly to my email, whatever, you know? I should get into the office earlier, I should be, more confident. Whatever your should list is, people love to have their should list be met, but it's kind of like New Year's resolutions. If it does, it's really exciting, but if it doesn't, which is most of the time, it's a little disappointing, but you kind of know it's not going to happen. But when you decide something is a must for you, an absolute must, when you cut off any possible, you say, I'm going to find the way or I'm going to make the way. Human beings, when they resolve things, when they make a real resolution inside themselves, which is they raise the standard and they make it a must, they find the way. Think about it in your own life. Haven't you had some area of your life where you raise your standard and your life has never been the same? Maybe at one time in your life you smoked cigarettes, or you did something and you did it for years and you kept trying to change it, and kept telling yourself I should. And then one day something happened. Something just clicked you over. Something took you over that kind of tipping point. And inside yourself you said no more. And it was a very, very different experience, wasn't it? Something inside of you shifted. And what was a should became a must, and you've never gone back. Is there an area like that in your life you can think of?
Ever notice how that works? The moment that you really do commit and declare to do something, you become an unstoppable force of nature in your own life. And it's possible to do this in every aspect that you turn to. You see, you can't succeed by being good. That's what you're paid for. You can't succeed by being excellent. That's what's expected of you to do. You can only succeed by being outstanding. This takes a different level of resolve and commitment, and it certainly requires additional clarity so that you can articulate with specificity what that thing is that you're going to do differently. Now, we saw this earlier with Tom. He was actually using X factors as his differentiator to get him towards delivering upon his key result. An X factor, these are the behaviors that you commit to doing differently with quantity, quality, and consistency to achieve the key result. They are predictive of the key results being achieved, and they are actionable within your circle of influence. Think of it this way. These are your standards, and they will positively impact the goal. In the example with accounts receivable, some X factors will be, as an example, analyze 5 accounts receivable disputes for root causes using our 8-point root cause analysis template each week. See what's going on here? We've got quantity 5, the actual actionable behavior, which is the accounts receivable disputes root cause analysis there. And we've got quality, which is an 8-point root cause analysis template. Now, that may not even exist yet in the organization. We're meant to create that in order to have a standard to be able to review against, to ensure that you actually know how to do that root cause analysis concept. And then consistency each week. Here's the next one. Implement 1 process improvement to reduce disputes using the implementation and team training checklist each week. You see, the quality component here is one of the massive differentiators when it comes to those that achieve the outstanding results. It is how we articulate the behaviors that we'll be doing in such a way that we know specifically what's happening, and someone else can also learn from us and replicate that same behavior. The third one here is an example. Complete 1 post-process improvement review using the new procedure as a checking guide for compliance each week. You see, when that new process improvement gets put in place and there's a procedure, sometimes what happens when it gets applied is it doesn't get applied exactly as the procedure stated. So by doing a review against that as a quality assurance step, we increase either the likelihood that it'll be executed fully, or if we need to learn and adjust it, the procedure, we can do it that way as well. Now, when it comes to creating and tracking objectives, key results, and X factors, the great news is that the Huddleboard app has been designed to do that. And right now, we're going to go and have a look at how to set up a scoreboard with objective key results and X factors and utilize artificial intelligence to absolutely speed up our process. Let's go check it out. We're going to go head on over to see Tom again. Here's Tom. He's the accounts receivable specialist, and he's in his huddle for the collectors. Here we see a space where the scoreboards will go, and when he's having his huddle with the team, where his commitments will be. Let's start by adding Tom's individual scoreboard. And this will take us to our OKRX Scoreboards workbench area, where we can start doing some brainstorming around these goals. Now, for the brainstorm, there's actually a brainstorm tool here. We're going to set this off with 7 minutes and create all of these goals, objectives, key results, X factors, and scoreboards all in under 7 minutes. Let's check it out. Now, the starting point is that Tom looks at what his top-level OKRs are in the organization, and based on his position, starts coming up with some ideas. In the brainstorm, he can start saying things like, reduce the number of disputes in the accounts receivable team, add a process improvement for saving time when it comes to processing accounts. And he can continue going through brainstorming out at the speed of speech by utilizing the dictation tool. Beyond that, Tom can also obtain some inspiration. Inspiration's available in the templates section, where we can search via different industries and positions, or the brand new artificial intelligence feature by simply clicking on the chat option, ChatGPT, and then Tom's name, and the artificial intelligence will now use the world's largest language model to seek out all of the information that we've been available to be accessed up until 2021 to bring forward potential ideas for objectives and key results. And it's that fast. Now, from here, Tom can look through these ideas for inspiration and then make adjustments for those. So let's have a look at optimizing the collections process. Great. Let's pop this one over here in the middle. And from here, Tom can now start brainstorming some ideas. He might also say, oh yeah, reduce collection cycle times from 10 days. Well, let's say currently at 14, and we want to get that down to 9 as a starting point, let's say in the particular business. Now from here, Tom can also start brainstorming like we did before with the dictation, or utilize once again the artificial intelligence to come up with some ideas. Now over on the right-hand side, these particular X factors will now start to come through, and they'll start as the basis for him to then build off. So for example, we've got monitor all invoices for accuracy and completeness daily, analyze all payment trends, And it's got a whole range to pick. We're going to pick a few here, drop them over onto this side. Okay. And let's pop those 3 in as a starting point. Now, we might even decide to rearrange those based on the order that we think is most impactful. That will be up for Tom to do. And at this point in time, we can now convert these into scoreboards. The OKRX Scoreboards workbench is designed specifically for this task. You simply click on the scoreboard icon there, which will bring forward your template. And with this, we'll put in the verb, the measure, and we're going to set that range to go from the 14 days to 9 days. And we'll start that today by default and take this one through, as we've said there, to the end of the year. So we're going to make it through to the end of the year. And we'll convert that to a scoreboard. We'll get a start date today, which will make that a single day. We'll start today and convert it to the scoreboard. Now that scoreboard's available for us to view, and if we want, we can even set things like waypoints to change the trajectory along the way. Let's move on to the X factors now and convert these to scoreboards. And what we'll see is the data has been put into our wizard here for us. So the verb monitor, quantity, and that target value equal to, so monitor all invoices. When we say all, really what it's there is 100%. Is what we're saying there for all. So we're going to turn that to 100 and make that a percentage. Invoices for accuracy and completeness. Now that's great, sounds, but the quality is a little bit vague. I'm going to say using the, let's say there might be an 8-point checklist for invoices. So items that we need to do for accuracy and completeness. And then that way we've got an opportunity to get a standard in there in quality to reference against. If we don't have something to check against, how do I know if I'm doing a good job of it? So a procedure would need to be created, a checklist created around that 8-point, it might be 9-point, but come up with some standard that then can be replicated. From here, we can take it through to, we'll do a single date. We'll actually take this one through just to the end of June, and then we'll want to do a review on that as we might actually change those out over time. Okay, and now we've got our first scoreboard. And the way these are designed is it actually has a space for us to capture the data as well. We'll see more of that in a sec. Now, we've got 2 minutes to go, so we better keep moving. So contact all past due customers. Now, the all once again comes in. That's 100%. So let's do greater than 80% on this one as a way to do it. And we'll do that not on a weekly, but on a daily basis. So greater than or equal to 80%. Past due customers to remind of due payments using artificial intelligence to create custom phone scripts with empathy to remind of payment due. And we'll set that today, and we'll have that once again by the end of June as well. I wonder how we're going for time. We're getting close now, surely. Convert that to the scoreboard. 1 minute to go. Do you think we're going to make it? Update all customer accounts with accurate information daily. So let's do update greater than, once again, 80%. Let's give ourselves some room to warm up to this one. Greater than 80%. We'll do that daily. Customer accounts with accurate information using reference to the CRM and Xero profiles to check for accurate information. So actually knowing where in a CRM Xero accounts into the system against the profiles to do that checking for accurate information on the core 12 points of data. There'll be something in there that we'll be able to get a best practice, a standard against that. And we'll put that once again also into June 30, and we'll convert that to the scoreboard. And we've gone just on 7 minutes. How about that? We've got our objectives, key results, X factors, and our scoreboards all in place, ready to go. Now all I need to do as Tom is actually select these ones and say, this is what we're working on. This is what we now have in our daily huddles. And this, as Tom, is what I will now be executing on a daily basis. I might be just day 1 or day 2 into my job. Now I can commence with confidence, with clarity and confidence on objectives, key results, and X factors that will make a significant difference. This is the value exchange moment that as Tom, as an individual contributor within the team, can confidently know each day that he can have a remarkable day and move things forward that adds value to the organization. Now, Tom can update his numbers simply by clicking on the scoreboards. We'll see very uniquely here that on a daily basis, Tom can actually track the progress on how he's going, and the system is going to now, using colors, give feedback along the way. Let's have a look at each of these. So let's say he goes to 85 on this one and 90 on this day. And so constantly keeping these updated is going to be able to get some information on progress. We can show different graphs along the way. We can see how the structure is happening. And doing so can actually understand that has a winnable game that he has influence over on a daily basis. Now, as we set goals, objectives, key results, and X factors, you might ask the question, how do I know at what level or what metric I need to actually set it at? Now, for this one, there's a great way to essentially push or challenge yourself on this. How do I set the target? Well, if it doesn't challenge you, it will not change you. In order to actually have a sense of winning and progress and happiness in life, we need to challenge ourselves. Just like we challenge a muscle in order to grow it, we need to challenge our mind, our body, in order to move forward. Who here knows David or has heard of David Goggins? Pop a 1 in the chat if you've heard or seen the Navy SEAL David Goggins. Put a 1 in the chat. He's famous for being known as like the fittest man alive. Let's hear from David Goggins around goal setting.
This guy stopped me at a stoplight. He was like, hey, Goggins, why am I not getting better? I'm a big-time goal setter. I run half Ironmans. I run half marathons. I go for that new promotion at work. Why am I not getting better? I asked him a question. Do you have fear of not reaching those goals? He said no. Okay, that's your problem. You're setting goals you know you can reach. And when you do that, that fear, that insecurity, that doubt, that's where you grow. He's not getting that. You must always set goals that you think you cannot achieve. And then there you get better. Stay hard.
Fear, insecurity, doubt. Fear, insecurity, doubt when setting your goals. If you do not have a little pit of nervousness or almost nausea in your stomach when you set that goal, then it isn't high enough. It isn't hard enough, and you are not going to get yourself into the growth zone. As they say, there's no comfort in the growth zone and no growth in the comfort zone. So actually be bold and challenge yourself. By the way, if you set a goal high and you don't achieve it, what does that mean? What's the problem with that? You set a goal really high, you put that benchmark really high and you don't get that. Are you winning? Do we think about that as losing, winning or losing at that point in time? Because I want to push it to you that it's winning or learning. Well said, Chris. Well said, Kyron. Well said, Nina. Winning or learning is the thinking about it. The fact that you're pushing yourself into a new zone, that's the place to be. We're going to look at scoreboards now. We're going to see scoreboards with a whole new perspective, especially around the colors, green, yellow, and red. The most important thing is that you are progressing forward more than you were doing last year, last quarter, last month, last week, yesterday. The key is to push yourself further every time. That is actually where the winning feeling comes from. It isn't easy. It's not meant to be easy. Winners don't do the easy things. Actually, winners are the ones that are actually taking charge and doing the challenging thing on a consistent basis. Let's now have a look at how we keep ourselves together as a team focused on the winning. It's actually the huddle board. It's the daily huddle. When we do this effectively, we gather as a team and we're looking out for each other. This is a really important part of this one. We're looking out for each other and we are going to celebrate the little wins that come along. Every little win, celebrate that, acknowledge each other. We gather together each day around the huddle board, on our particular huddle board. We share an update on our scoreboards. Really important that you get back in touch with those metrics. These are the metrics that matter in our roles. We look at those, and if it's red, we say, right, what could I do today that would positively impact that scoreboard? And I make a commitment that's aligned to that item that's red. We call that a power move. The power move is declaring the one thing that you're going to do that you bet will have the biggest impact on that scoreboard. Hey, if it's green, maybe I don't need to do anything on that one today. We're in the right zone. We're heading where we need to go. Let's go put the energy and the tension into that thing that's red or yellow that's actually asking us for help. I need some help here. Go and put the energy in. Now, we look out for our teammates as well. If our teammates are focusing on commitments that are all aligned to the green, then we need to be able to talk straight, confront reality with beautiful, caring respect for them and say, hey, I noticed that you haven't put anything on that red one. Do you have a power move that you could do on that today? Actually help each other out. Oh, yeah, I could. Or you know what, I'm getting stuck on thinking about the types of commitments I can make. No worries, let's take it offline and have a brainstorm and come up with some ideas together. Be constantly looking to help each other out to win together. It's so much better when you're winning together as a team than if you're just doing it on your own. Now, the scoreboards are so incredibly powerful when we get them right. I'm going to take you for a moment to have a look at some images, and I would like you to see if you can spot the difference between these. But quick quiz, by answer of one in the chat, who here has ever seen American football, the National Football League, American football? One in the chat if you've ever seen or heard of that. Right. I'm from Australia. We don't play American football, but I was in San Francisco last week and it was the Super Bowl was on. And so it was just on everywhere and was interesting. Capturing a few of the images on the screen, I noticed this. Players on the field. Here's the first image. Here's the second image. This is a set of 4 images. Take note. Third image. And then the final image in the set. Okay, I want you to spot the difference. See who can pick it up. Now, here's the same, similar to the first image. I'm watching this on TV, but something's different. Who can pick out what is different on this one or this one? Yeah, all right, you got it, the scoreboard. Now notice how this changes. 0-0, 14-21, 35-35. It's getting tight, isn't it? And then the competition's fierce, and then 38-35, we've got a winner. Now the emotion actually shifts at this point in time. And back in 1996, the television networks got this right. They figured out that putting the scoreboard on the screen would actually engage the viewers more. Previously, the score was just on the big screen for the players that you might see, but those watching at home couldn't see it. Now, the moment that we bring the scoreboard forward to where we need to see it, we see the whole play change. Our level of intensity, our energy, our decisions on the actions that we take completely changes. Now, we have our scoreboards in our Huddleboard app, and that is amazing to think how fast we can build those out, and we can meet daily around these and make the right commitments to drive the results forward. But actually, where we really need them is just like on the TV, is on our desktops. And thanks to GoTeam, the Huddleboard app, and very big kudos to Wilmar, who's our lead developer on the call today, and Raven and Designs, our design director. Our new heads-up display is available to install onto our computers so that we can keep the main thing, and actually keep that attention and focus on the goals that really matter, so that no matter how busy we are throughout the day, we can be reminded about that which will have the biggest impact of all. Now, the way this works, once it's installed, you can have it in this full mode. You can update the metrics on here. You can see some detailed information about it, but you can also minimize it to keep it off to the side, to just keep it familiar. You know it's there, but it doesn't need to disappear. And with that, we'll see an increase in incredible focus, attention, performance, and results delivery, and a greater level of confidence as we execute on our highest priorities. You know, there's a bit more to it than just the objective key results, the scoreboards and the daily huddles, but also the one-on-ones. One-on-ones between a leader and a team member are a really sacred place for people to get together and have their voice heard, to be able to share their updates, and have a safe space created so that people can really exceed. In the one-on-ones, what we do in these sessions is it's an opportunity for the voice to be heard by the team member around things like their check-in, which is just getting a point of, hey, how do we feel? Where are we at right now? And we cover some items like our 2-word barometer, which is our release word, which is just connecting to where we're at right now, and our power word to focus on what we declare to achieve in our day. But as a leader of a huddle, it's really a real imperative is that we pause at the beginning, take a moment to connect and say hello, and then center yourself as a leader by sharing a statement similar to this one. And that is, hi to the team member. Just as a reminder, the purpose of this session when we get together is to create a safe space. And in it, my intent is that there'll be no right, wrong, good or bad. No judgment. I'm going to push that to one side. Rather, my pure focus is objectively to look to see how I can help you to exceed. How does that sound to you? And a very important question that we ask as a leader is, how does that sound to you? To get the feedback from the team members so we can judge where they're at. Going into any type of one-on-one or performance catch-up session, there could be nervousness and apprehension, which comes from previous experiences and these types of things. What we really benefit from is removing that, creating the safe space so that the team member can then push themselves further, start to take risks, know that it's okay to be failing forward and learning along the way, because that is the zone as human beings we need to get to push to these levels of outstanding. We're going to fail on our way forward to get the great results. So it's important that we're not, as leaders, giving judgment in that zone and making it more difficult and have the person feel afraid to share. Rather, we need to embrace it and figure things out together. So we check in emotionally. How are you feeling? Describe your mood. What can you do to make your day great? And also then how, as the leader, can I help you? We also go into covering off and having a look at the metrics for the team member as well. And we spend about 15 minutes here to actually do a deep dive and have a look at the trends that are happening within the particular metrics. We ask for feedback, even say, share your screen. Let's go and have a look at how that's working for you. Please share with me, show to me, showcase what you're working on, what's working, what's not, and where can I help clear a path for you. It's really important, as we can see here, write 5 technical requirements using the technical requirements template and assistance of ChatGPT. Great to see artificial intelligence coming in to those qualities. In fact, I would put it to everyone that in your quality, there's more and more opportunities to be using AI to support you in accelerating your work going forward. And so we can have a conversation about that and encourage it some more. We've also got in here the opportunity for agenda items to talk to, top priorities, any clearer path items. We can look at our history of our sessions together and also coaching macros. So if we've got a formalized coaching to help us further accelerate results, or if we've got a diminished somewhere and we need to kind of lift up, pick up, and we want extra focus, that's there for us. And also our frameworks to have conversations to be consistently learning around personal effectiveness in our roles. Now, after the one-on-ones, or I should add in here, forgive me, is during the one-on-ones, it's really critical, this concept of being objective. And whether you're the leader doing this or for yourself individually, to be objective when you're looking at your scoreboards. That means getting rid of this concept of right, wrong, good or bad. The old thinking would have been something like green is good and red is bad. That's your old thinking. Scratch that one out and overlay it with this. Green is not good, red is not bad. They are just colors. What green means is we meet or exceed the target. Yellow means we're 0 to 20% below the target, and red means we're more than 20% below the target. It's so important to shift our thinking this way so that we remove the emotional angst that can come with the, oh, I'm in the red zone, to, oh, I'm in the red zone. What are we going to do now? And you get in there and start problem solving and taking the right action. You see, when you set your goals really high, for example, and you don't know how you're going to get there yet because you haven't actually done it before, that's a really important part of an objective, a key result, and X factors. We've never done it before. That's the idea. If you can kind of just do it anyway, then you don't need to worry about having some support in winning. You can, play not to win and play mediocre in life and get a mediocre outcome in life if you want to be mediocre. But I imagine that the fact that you're here is you're not into mediocre. You want greatness in your life. You love the idea of progressing forward. And in doing so, that means we challenge ourselves, where it won't always be in the green zone, especially if that goal is set really high and we're catching up on what to do. That's totally fine. Use that as the inspiration, the drive to realize that being in a challenging environment is exactly what you need to grow. Now, as you're going through, you've got your daily huddles with your team, amazing support there, encouragement from your teammates to say, come on, you can do this. You're doing great. We want to see you win. Every 2 weeks, meeting for a one-on-one with a leader, also saying, hey, you can do this. We want to see you win. We want to see you exceed. Then either once a quarter, that's what we do at GoTeam, or once every 6 months, to have a more formalized approach with a win-win agreement. Now, this is different from a performance agreement that you would see occur in most organizations. One of the big things that's different is the transparency in your pathway towards coming up to your agreement. Your objectives, key results, and X factors give you transparency around the winnable game. And it's one of the main priorities of the conversation in the win-win performance agreement. Also, in addition to that, is showing up to the huddles. All of that you have full control over. And you're actually, because you're meeting every 2 weeks with a leader for that conversation around your progress, by the time you get to a win-win performance session, there's actually nothing to worry about because you know the progress that you've been making. And you've got that transparency. This session is absolutely hitting all of the elements of career mastery and results delivery, being seen and feeling heard. This session is for the team member to share progress. It ensures that you're aligned to delivering the impact for the organization and you've got an opportunity to make adjustments, and you're fully supported around delivering upon the winnable game. Now, going into the session, feedback is a blessing. And we get that gift of feedback through the 360-degree feedback tool that's built into the system. As an individual, you'll be answering, what are the top 3 things you're most proud of achieving and delivering at work in this last reporting period, whether that's 6 months or 3 months? What are the 3 areas you would like to focus on for improvement across this next period? And what do you need? What can you do to achieve your professional goals and improvements? And what do you need from us, the organization, to help you achieve? The team, and if you're client-facing, the client will also be answering these. What are the top 3 things that the team member exceeds at? What are the top 3 areas for focus for improvement, and any further comments as well? This actually comes out in an email via the Huddleboard app, and the new version of it is where for example, if it's the client, they'll be able to see what your self-evaluation was first and the team member's feedback before the client then or leader leaves their feedback on the top 3 things, the top areas for improvement, and any further comments. This is really useful because you get to have your voice as a team member. You have your voice heard first before feedback is given on you. When you do your self-evaluation, you get to share those top 3 things that have been your big wins for that period, and the top 3 things that maturely you're saying, there's always space for improvement. Here's what they're going to be. Now, when your voice is heard first, the conversation from the leader or the client shifts now. It really shifts very deeply into one of, how can we help you? And hence this becomes an incredibly powerful and a very important tool that is both important but not urgent. And in doing so, carving out the time has a radical impact. Now, I'm going to be really sneaky and cheeky here and share you an insight into what's coming up in this tool as well. This was only shared with me today, so it's hot off the press. It's still in design phase, it hasn't been released yet. And that is that we'll also be able to look at our company values, how are we progressing in line with our values to keep a focus there. And also another tool around praise and nominations is coming as well. So we're going to be able to acknowledge each other. And Raven's screaming because I'm sharing it before it's even got live, gone further ahead. But let us know what you think about the idea of having things like praise and nominations where we can praise each other on a regular basis. Yeah, totally ambushed. The idea of being able to celebrate each other is just such a beautiful and powerful thing to connect, especially in a world where we are, majority of us are actually virtual. So lots of acknowledgement goes a huge way. I just say, I was having a laugh with Raven this morning when he was showing me this, because my facial expression was this, which was a combination between smiling and my jaw dropping, and in between it, just this weird looking face, because I thought, you know what? This is one of those breakthrough moments of being able to acknowledge people beyond just the acknowledgements in the daily huddles themselves, but actually reaching out and say, hey, that was awesome, man. I really love what you did. That really made an impact on me. And that's a huge deposit in the emotional bank account that we can do for each other. When we're virtual, we don't always have that same connection as what can happen when we're just around the office. So huge kudos and thanks, Raven, and Kyron for bringing this together. Kyron for the technical writing, Raven for the design, and for the rest of the Huddleboard team that now need to build it. Thank you very much. Hey, when you're in the Huddleboard and these win-win agreements, you've got a calendar here which will outline where all the meetings are going to be, things like your win-win agreements. And when you kick off an actual win-win session with a team member, just like whether it's a one-on-one or the huddles themselves, you'll notice that the video will kick in straight away. And when you get there, there's a reminder in the help section for the leaders on how to have that opening welcome statement around creating safety and removing the judgment from right, wrong, good or bad, and to actually look objectively and help the team member to exceed. So important to always recenter there. Even if you've been doing it consistently, be consistent on this one. It's incredibly important for a human being to feel supported. The system in the win-win then looks at huddle statistics, the feedback, OKRX scoreboards, salary review if it's that season, learning path coming soon, the call to action, and the agreement history. Here we get to have a moment where the leader, the team member, will share verbally, even though it's on the screen, their wins, their areas for improvement, their what they can do for their professional goals and what they need from us. Share all that verbally so that we're fulfilling upon the voice being heard and the individual being seen on their progress. So much more comes out of it once the conversation commences. We hear more, it always unfolds more. And it's really important as human beings that we have this talk time together. Then we can look at the feedback from the teammates, and we can go in there and have a look at the goals in some more detail at this point in time. It was for the previous period. We can click on those just like we can on any other section of the site and actually look at some of the trends and have conversations around the data to see what we can learn on. Now, beyond that, we also have the ability to create the call to action. This is the win-win part, where at the end of it, we take some time to share what will 3 wins be for the team member across this next period, and what would up to 3 wins be for the organization, so that we can clarify some expectations and ensure that we've got continuous growth happening for both the team member and the team and organization. Now, as we bring this session through to a close today, I'll just remind you about these 4 fundamentals that we've covered in this masterclass. OKRX and how to set up those metrics in under 7 minutes, powered by the world's brain of the largest language model, artificial intelligence, all now built into Huddleboard. Or doing it at the speed of speech by just using the text-to-speech dictation option. We've had a look at the daily huddle. And there's videos available inside the Huddleboard app. Let's go and have a quick look at that one. In the help section here, everything you need to know to get started is on the videos under the onboarding section. In there, you can play a video and it will take you through each section so that you can go back there as often as you like to help you build your clarity and confidence around using the Huddleboard app. We've also covered today, and so that you can go and have a look at a full daily huddle being played out inside there, so you can see how that works, get the feeling for it. I've had a look at the fortnightly one-on-ones for the team members with leader and the win-win agreements as well. Now, all of this combined together is focused around helping you to have career mastery and results delivery, ensuring you've got a space to be seen and feel heard, that you understand what delivering impact looks like, and that you have a winnable game and you can set it up faster than ever before so that you can win. Now, these tools are now in your hands for everyone at GoTeam and for our clients available as well. Reach out to us so we can help you in your organizations as well. And as Zig Ziglar says, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. And so to close out, I've got 2 questions I'd love to pose for you. I think Den's going to set the poll up for us. These 2 questions are, can you pop that poll up? Thanks, Den. Here are the questions. Which of the following would you prioritize at the end of this session? Will it be to set up and refresh my OKRX using AI? You can go and do that right now. How much fun that's going to be. Schedule your next one-on-one with your leadership coach. Review your win-win agreements for the next period, or all of the above. So just look at those and see which suits you best so that you can set your mind on what your actions are going to be. You don't have to be great to start, but you do need to start in order to be great. Okay, that's great. And then the second question, all right, well, the answers are coming in thick and fast now. You're doing great. You're all going to be great because you're all starting by answering the questions. I love it. It's super fast. You're doing fantastic. All right, let's, that poll's got another minute to go, but let's just give it another 10 seconds on that poll and we'll move it forward to the second question. Is that how it works, Dan? You'll move it forward to the next question in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1.5. And then the next question is, I understand having clear and precise goals is critical to winning. Having an extra set of eyes from a GoTeam coach can make all the difference. Therefore, I would like to meet with a coach at the following time. Do you want to get some time with your coach, next week to really check over those objectives, key results, and X factors, a bit of AI improved? Or is it something that you could do in the following week, or just somewhere within this quarter, like within the quarter, so you'll be set up for the following quarter? You'll know where you're at based on the progress on your scoreboards today. If you're seeing progress consistently on the scoreboards, then waiting towards the end of the quarter is probably the right time for you. If you've been doing OKRX for like 4 quarters by now, and you're constantly seeing your metrics move forward, then probably saying I'm clear with your goals is the zone to be in. Wonderful team. We'll give this just another 10 seconds to close this out. Up go the numbers, up go the numbers. Here come the winners. Here are the starters, the people that believe in taking action, getting results, and desire big things in their lives. I can see those numbers continuing to go up. This is awesome. Look at you go. Love being around winners. Winners take action. And we'll close out that poll. Thanks, Dan. Let's close out that poll. All right, and share the results. Failed to share the poll. The poll's done. I might even need you to share that one, Dan. I'm not sure. But hey, well done, everybody. Congratulations. You've now come through to the end of today's masterclass, all about playing to win, powering up results, delivery, and career mastery with our OKRX, our daily huddles, our one-on-ones, and our win-wins. Now, beautifully powered by artificial intelligence with so much more AI yet to come to help us to win in our roles. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Well done for today. Now, we've got a few minutes left. Indeed. So I would love to hear from anyone to open up any questions, queries, ideas, feedback, things that are working for them, anything at all. If you've got something, now's a great opportunity. In fact, in the morning session, one of the coaches shared their heads up display live to have a look at it. If anyone's got that, we could do that as well. Just raise your hand if you've got a question or something to share. or a win you've been having. Has anyone got a heads up display there that they can, I'm on a Mac at the moment. We haven't released it on the Mac yet. Has anyone got a PC there with a heads up display we could take a quick look at? Yes, says Kai. All right, thanks, Kai. If you could, Dan, if you could give Kai access to screen share. Now, I was with one of our major clients in the US last week, and we were going through a very similar session to what you're having right now. And the moment that they saw the heads up display, they said, we must have this. And so here you go. Here's an example of the heads up display, right? You can have it on the bottom there now. That's beautiful. With those metrics, you can have it off to the side. You can move it around to see where you suit. Now it stays there persistently, very deliberately, so that the scoreboard's available for us to see it. Now you can update it from there. Now we are the first in the world, ladies and gentlemen, to have a heads-up display widgetized style scoreboard out of any other software provider around objectives and key results. This doesn't exist. The other thing that doesn't exist are those remarkable X factors, the way the graphs work to actually help truly drive performance. Congratulations to you all. You may not realize it yet, but the technology team here at GoTeam and what we're about to release into the market is world-class and world-beating in the space that we're in. And you've got an opportunity to be winning by applying these tools that others will be clamoring over to get to. We'll be rolling out the heads-up display across the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks. First thing we're doing is rolling out the new Scale Fusion system so that we can remotely deploy software for you without having to interrupt you. Also, you'll see here your commitments that come through from the Huddleboard itself. They become available to you. Now, if you're on a Zoom or a Teams call, you can then minimize these. So Kai, if you can minimize, and we'll get a feel for what that looks like, and we'll watch our time so we don't go over. So you just keep them here. They're just down there. They're available. If anyone's a gamer, you'll be familiar with having different size scoreboards as well on some computer games. And look at this. All you need to do is click on those items to get a quick insight. You can check out the graph. Wow, this has improved more since I've seen it last. It's looking amazing. Excellent. Thanks, Kai. That's a great share. Well, team, I think there's probably only 2 things that we need to do now to finish our session, and that would have to be a power clap and a photo. So